I think we're officially live.
All right, rock and roll. I got stumped because I'm trying to do this live on LinkedIn as well, and it stopped me. Up until now, I thought I was approved to go LinkedIn, but apparently I'm not. So, oh well.
Uh, And I'm
This
just
is
sitting on Facebook wondering, I'm like, is he just going to show up and take me?
this is so good. So, those of you that are on watching us, are we live? Can you see it? Let me see if I'm going to go to my Facebook, and if I could see me, then I know we're live.
Says live now.
Oh yeah, we're on.
And I'm just going to show up and take me? Yep, we're live.
All right, rock and roll. So then, let me see where I can see the comments.
I'm hiding from it.
Are you?
Yeah, I've got my husband on the other side of the house. I'm like, you should watch this, but don't text me during it to tell me to do anything differently.
So this is why I don't love the live, but this will get better over time. So Devin Hernandez is with me today, and I asked Devin on for 3 reasons, and I've been giving this some thought. Number one is, Devin, you figured out a way, or I'll call it a hack, to do what you love for a living.
Sure.
And because you're really good at throwing parties. And so you figured out how to get a job throwing parties for one of the coolest organizations. And the second reason is that when you look at that list of rooms and you have those extra suites, I'm hoping, because I was the first to invite you on a podcast, you're like, I'm going to throw Chris one of the suites.
I don't know. I mean, Choky Wade totally helped my in-laws buy their first home in Arizona, so I think I've already got them on my secret list here. But
all right, well, Choky Wade, congratulations, you got the hookup. And then the third reason is, right before we were going into Chairman's Elite, which for those of you that aren't in the mortgage industry, that's our annual sales awards trip. So the best of the company who hit all the sales goals they needed to hit get invited to a very exclusive party at the end of the year. And it's also a business meeting. It's probably one of the coolest meetings that we have, because we get to see all the new tech that's coming out and everything. And I have to say that because there's some tax reasons and implications.
Thank you.
If we just call it a party, but we all want to know what's going on. So right before we were about to go to it, it got canceled like a week before. Not canceled, it got rescheduled.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people, because it doesn't look like coronavirus is going away anytime soon, and we're in one of the worst states in Arizona that the cases just keep accumulating. So what do we do? What is the immediate plan right now for it? So those are all the reasons I wanted to get you on. So thank you for coming.
So do I get to pick and choose what I want to talk about and what I don't want to talk about?
Yeah, we're live. We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want.
Well, I guess we should start with what people really want to know. So for a second, let's talk about the postponement of Chairman's Elite this year, because that was a pretty big deal. And I go back to that. I literally was sitting right in this same room, in this same guest bedroom in my house, as Jeff Walsh is calling me and trying to figure out what we're going to do. And we made the right call. But what I think some people don't know is we had 3 Chairman's Elite programs this year. So we celebrate multiple channels within our business.
That's right.
And we had just finished our first one. So the first group had gone to Santa Barbara, had an amazing time. Everybody's feeling really high and really great energy about this. And then we're supposed to leave in 2 days for the next trip, which is for another business channel. And then the following week was going to be the one for you guys for retail. So I'm in the midst, I'm already in it, and things are coming through the news and what we're supposed to do. And I mean, it was hard, because I'm an optimist. That's just who I am. And I'm like, oh, we're fine. We're going to be good. And we're seeing all the updates happening. And I think I know that we made the right decision. But it was hard because I was already in it. We already had a group that was traveling home. We had one that was leaving tomorrow, and then you guys leaving next week. So it was a lot. It was definitely a lot to go through. But we made the right decision. But now we've got a group of, 400 people that didn't get to go on their trip yet. And that's hard, because this would have been my 10th year delivering incentive trips for Loan Depot and the previous company acquisition for my mortgage. So it was a big deal for me too, and it's part of my year. It's part of my life. It's part of my kids. They go on this great trip the week after mom gets back from chairman's leave. So it was interesting, but I think we did the right thing, and we've got some great things in store. I know Chris is hoping that I'm going to drip some things that may not be.
The whole idea here is we're just going to keep talking.
And hopefully I say something.
Hopefully you drop some bombs that we get to find out where it's going to be. And there's a lot of guessing, and I wish I could see the comments. I can't see the comments yet. I got to figure that piece of it out next.
And again, I'm hiding from all of them.
But if the comments were coming up, I'm sure there would be people heckling us and talking about where they want it to be. So you hacked into this job, right? And I really think that this is a hack because no one really, there's not a lot of people I know, and I don't think there's anybody that I know that looked at the industry and said, I want to go to mortgage. Like we all kind of landed in mortgage, but you're in a little bit of in a different zone here because you get to, coordinate all of these amazing backdrops and all these amazing events. And, every time I always make it a point to walk up. From the first time I came to the team, I remember walking up to you. I was like brand new, and I was like, this is a really cool. And you were like so busy. You're like, dude, leave me alone. But I was like, no, but really, this is like a really cool, because I came from, Wells Fargo, and I've seen a lot of these being pulled off, but you were just pulling them off in a way that was so insanely professional, and they just look cool. It was like very Instagrammable, if you will. And, where does that come from? And do you Pinterest this? Is there a Pinterest for all this stuff?
I'm so old. It's before Pinterest, my friend. Can I point out one comment though? Like, Ray, I love you because she says she's only here because I'm on. And I just have to point out that I am original, my friend. We have an ongoing battle here.
Ray Saldana, Ray. So what's funny is right before this, she sent me Shane Stanton sent out an email, and I guess I'm somewhere in there that he talked about it. So she, of course, anytime Shane does that, tells me that I'm full of it. And so we've been going back and forth while we were about to join. So I was like, just go live with me, please.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hi, Ray. I tagged this morning some of my old Chairman Elite friends and President's Cup friends over the years. So I was hoping that they would come join me here this morning too. So I think my kids and my husband are the best testament to this because I'm a super crazy organized person. So if you think about the worst thing about label machines on everything, for those of you that use a project management tool like Asana, my kids use it for their chores. This is my life. I'm a project manager at heart. And so one of the beautiful things about an event is that there's a start and a finish. There's always something you're working towards. And a lot of things you do in life, the goal keeps moving, the milestone keeps moving. And an event for me has a start and a finish. And I love that. I love the success of it. I love the feeling of it. I could never be someone who just plans it but isn't there to watch it come together, because some of the best parts are seeing you and, in your situation, you and Tracy arrive. I know these spouses on these events just as well as I know the qualifier that made it. And I think that's what makes it so special for me too. So I love the creativity of it too. I love the grand flash and how it all comes together, but I think I love the process of it, which I know is super deep. It's geeky, and that's just who I am.
But it is. I mean, it is a process, because I will tell you, when you get off the bus, when you get, when we get shuttled to the destination, there's all this anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get off the bus and you immediately see some food, because we're all hungry, right? And there's some drink. And then you guys just have it set up you get checked in, you get gifts. You're just so taken care of the entire time. And then just when you think it's over, you get to your room and there's usually a gift in there too. Yeah. And so it just goes on and on and on. And it's just such an amazing event that once you've gone to one, you never not want to go to one. It is a thing that you got to maintain once you've been there. And it's not an easy target to hit, but but it's also cool because you're, like you said, Tracy, my wife, gets to see these are the people that you work with, And this is how the company's taking care of us. And that's all a testament to you putting this amazing event together and thinking about those details as you walk through the doors. And that's always been a really special observation from my perspective.
Well, thank you. I don't know if my background, I started in hotels. So actually my family owned restaurants. So hospitality is just like in my blood. And I worked for Starwood Hotels for a long period of time leading up to this. And everything is about anticipation. Like when you arrive, when Tracy arrives, I want you to know that I planned for you and Tracy to be there. Like it's not just I planned for 600 people to show up. I planned for the two of you. So when you get off that bus, we're waiting for you. When you get to your room, there's something special for her, something special for you. So, it doesn't matter how many people it is. We're all in the details. And I think that's what gets us so excited. And I keep saying and I need to point that out. I have 6 phenomenal women that work on my team every day, and I couldn't do it without any of them. Some of them have been here for years. One of them just joined the team officially this last year, but had 10 years of contract on Loan Depot and iMerge events. So, they deal with all the craziness in my head and help it all come together, but we love what we do.
So when we went through a merger from and your legacy iMortgage, right? You were iMortgage.
Yeah.
And when we went to that merger, you started seeing and any merger this happens to. So for those of you that haven't been through a merger, this is a major merger. I lived it when we went through Chase and Bank One merger, where that was a big one. And you see what ends up sticking. So the companies go through and they look at who did well in these areas for us and who's doing well, so it sucks because 2 companies are merging and there's usually 2 people in a role. And I don't know who did your role for Loan Depot because I was iMortgage, but you were it was just very clear that you were going to be ride or die with this company. Or let me put it a different way. This company was going to be ride or die with you because of how good you were executing. And it's not just this trip. You have the manager meetings, you have the executive meetings. What other things are on your list of stuff that you got to execute on?
In 2019, my team executed, I think, 110 events for the organization. Wow. So by no means, Chairman's Elite may be one of the biggest, the most well-known, but we do so many different things. And when I came, so there wasn't somebody at Loan Depot that did what I did. You've got an entrepreneur company rising up fast. You've got a bunch of people that did pieces of what I did, but I think that's why it was such a good fit. And I was thankful that I could grow into that role because definitely it's grown me. But Anthony too. I think one of the very first events I did with Anthony is I want to hit the road and I want to go do town halls and CEO.
Oh, that's right.
And I did 16 events with him in 72 hours in 9 states. So do the math.
Yeah.
There's no way to get their own commercial at that point. And it was just all right, ride or die, here we go. And, shout out to Leanne Dvorsky. She took that road with me. We made some very interesting flights from Boston to New York. And she may or may not have been on Dramamine for 4 days to handle all of this. But we've done all different types of things. And, we take the same mentality. It doesn't matter if it's a 4-day event or if it's a 1-hour event. We run everything kind of like an incentive. So specifically, let's talk about new hire orientation for a new hire.
That's one of the best. I think we were one of the best in the business.
Oh my gosh. And I don't say that just because my team's been involved with it for so long, but that's the very first thing I did when I joined iMortgage was new hire orientation. And I did it for 20 people a month. And that's it. And I'm this is how we're going to roll it. We're going to have a registration. We're going to have all these personal touches. We're going to have swag. It's going to be a 5-day event. And to this day, I think we run it like it's an incentive. We don't run it like you're coming to training. We run it in a totally different fashion. And I wish I could publicize every survey result because I just read those to make myself feel better all day long. Because people are so excited to be here and they're just blown away. And that's just one of the things we do.
Yeah, we were lucky. Sean, who's in Vegas, who I think you've probably seen and met before, he texted me when he was sitting in there about how crazy the information he was getting in the event, and we ended up making that a little bit of a commercial for social media because it was the text message chain, and it was really the true text message chain that we did. But it was because, and I didn't realize we do this or that I was underselling the experience, right? And so when people the hardest thing about what we do is you convince somebody who's doing really well at another company to come to this company. And they're minding their own business and they're getting calls left and right from other recruiters. And we finally like broke in somehow and got them to listen to us and convinced them to sign on. And then there's all this buyer's remorse once they sign the offer. And they're like, well, should I go? And they get busy. Contracts are coming in. They don't know if they should make a move. But it all goes away when they go to new hire training.
Yeah.
And when they come out of new hire training, they're like, okay, I'm in. Like, I get it. And you didn't tell me about this and that. And it's like, yes. And so to have an event, and for me now, it's a coordination of when they come on board, because I want them to come on board and immediately go to new hire. Oh, yeah. If they come on board and they're here 3 weeks before new hire, that's too long. Yeah, it's a very different experience. And so I just got to commend how well you've executed on that. And I think it's one of the best, benefits that we give. We, up until coronavirus or the COVID situation and this pandemic, we took people, flew them out, pay for it, set them up in a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
And
feed them, happy hour them. The whole experience is, and even for the folks that are going through our virtual right now, I'm having meetings every single week with those teams, with the training team, with my team. I'm like, how can we make it better?
Wait, you guys are doing happy hours on? You guys are doing Zoom happy hours on this?
I do. Yeah, I did one with Alex's division and one with Drew's division. That's how I met Christina Hernandez from Tucson in our happy hour together. So, I mean, we're evolving, but just because we went virtual for hopefully this period of time doesn't mean that we're taking a step back. We're just figuring out how we can meet you now. How can we connect with you now? How can we share the culture and the excitement of Loan Depot? I can't see you face to face, but I can sit with you in your home office and share what I feel about this company, and hopefully you can get a piece of that. So it's been fun. It's a challenge.
So in terms of like, because right up until we went into working from home, it was like go, go, go. Like I remember it was like, I felt like the noise around me was like sitting on an airplane. It was just so loud and everything was just moving so fast. We were the busiest we'd ever been. And then boom, it just stopped and we were all working from home. Right. And for someone like you, who your business is events and bringing people together, have you had a chance to like take a step back and look at your business and say, how can I improve it? Or what are we going to do differently? And tell me about that. What has that process been like for you?
My poor team. So, I share, as you do as a leader, Chris, I'm sure that you can share this, is I share responsibility for these human beings. Mm-hmm. I've asked you to come join me and be employed at Loan Depot. I've recruited these people and they're by my side, and they could have worked anywhere. And they're here, and now this happens, and it's like, oh my gosh, are their jobs at risk? I mean, in the hospitality industry, take mortgage out. People that have my role or Melanie's role or Chelsea's or Kate or Katie, their roles are being removed all over the place. So I look at each one of these individuals as a human, like I have a responsibility to keep them employed and to find value. And so the first, I'd say like 60 days was every project we could think of. Like every, you have like that laundry list of, I have these hundreds of things that I wish we had time to do. So the first thing is all of those things, like check them all off, like everything, rebranding, rebuilding, new websites, everything. You should see when we're ready to come back, the swag proposals that we have and right now, and I'll stop for a second. We have 6,000 swag orders in place right now, company-wide. So whether you're a new hire joining in retail and ops and direct, if you're an ACEs and direct, like we have gone crazy in design and marketing, and it's been fun. But once you actually do run out of projects at some point, and so then we really dove into, we need to educate ourselves to be virtual, and we're going to be virtual event production managers. I feel like I've got a Zoom PhD at this point. I've run Zoom events for over 12,000 people in the last month.
Wow.
My very first one I did for 8,000 people in your rental home in the middle of the woods.
That's right.
Boy, Chris, I hope you've got great Wi-Fi because this could go south pretty fast. So we've rebuilt who we are, but remembering that the basics of the event are still the same. People still want to be, they want to know that you're talking to just them. They want it to be unique. They want it to be personalized. They want to connect with people. And so throwing a WebEx is not going to do it. It's got to be more than that. So we've really dug deep and figured out the right mechanism, I think, to connect with people during this time. And you got to stop being afraid to get in front of the camera. I mean, I do video calls, probably 10 of them a day. And, you know, I'm a personality at Loan Depot. It's my job to share my experience and my energy for my company. I'm proud to be here.
Weird, right? Because, like, I don't know if this happened with you, but my cousin, she works for a major company, and they develop microchips or something. And she's dealing with people all over the world. We're just talking about, and I just kind of assumed that they were doing everything the way we're doing now, which is video. And she's like, oh no, like I won't do video. Like if I can avoid it, I won't. And I'm just thinking, like, I realized that once we went into this, I don't even call people on the phone anymore. If you're internal, I'm calling you from our Microsoft Teams. And I'm just ringing you up. You look green. You're available. I'm calling you. You know,
all day long. Everybody.
And that's just how it works now. And I just feel like I feel more connected than I ever have, you know, through this process, because, like, for me, it was always on the phone, and we get really distracted on the phone. We start looking at emails.
Eye contact with you right now.
Now I got to do eye contact, and that to me has made a huge difference. And you know, also, it's like, this is why I'm doing this now, because, you know, I had a chance to take a step back and say, like, what are the things I'm not doing that I should be doing?
Yeah.
And, you know, it was all these types of the podcast, these lives and that sort of thing. So where's the next Chairman's Elite going to be?
And I figured that. I'm reading the comments too. I'm like, they want to know when this is happening. When's this coming? I will tell you, announcements are being formulated now, and I'm going to give you my PR spiel on this too. Is that I'm super proud of Loan Depot's decision and how they're handling. I have a lot of friends that work for a lot of other companies that are not staying remote, and we've chosen our employees over everything else to keep them safe. And so we have a plan, and it will be announced. And don't worry, you qualified in 2019. You didn't miss your trip. Your trip just hasn't come yet. And it's coming, we promise. And as soon as it's safe for us to announce and that we can commit to you on a date, it'll be there. But I'm still planning it. And so if you've been there, you know you don't want to miss it.
I will tell you, these are the best events. And I don't care where it is. I really hope it's Mexico. That as long as you're throwing it, it's going to be an awesome party. So I really appreciate it. So wait, one more question. How many times have you been on the jet?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, in that 1 week, I felt like I went probably 30 times up and down. It's pretty nice.
So what was it like? Because I've been on the boat, haven't been on a jet. I really got to figure out a way to get on this jet. It's
incredible. It's definitely, it's similar to flying out of Orange County every single time, because you take off like a bullet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You get used to it, but yeah, it's pretty nice to walk into and have somebody say, "Mrs. Hernandez, welcome back." I'm like, yeah, I could probably get used to this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been an honor and a pleasure. But hey, I have a couple trivia questions. I know we're super over on time, but
no, we're not over. I'm good.
My old friends, so I put together some trivia questions for the 10 years, because there's a couple folks. I mean, Lisa, if you're still on, you've been here for some time. We go back to the days when there was only like 25 qualifiers. So I know there's some folks, and Alec, he's been on these for quite a few, back when he had hair too. Yeah, I was getting ready for that one.
See, you can say that. I can't say that.
Oh, I totally say it. So I have 3 trivia questions. So if you answer them in the comments within the next 24 hours, because I know people continue to watch these back, I will send you some Devin super swag that people haven't seen. I actually have even like one of my hats that I haven't given out yet.
Dude, that is.
So look, I look 20 years younger?
I love that hat. Weird. That's my hat. I love that hat.
You know, since you're my first Facebook Live, I'll send this to you. You live in Gilbert. I'll drop it off.
Yes, I love this. This is so awesome. Because I'm going to wear that on everything just to make everybody jealous. That is the coolest hat.
Okay, so you ready? I've got 3 questions over the years. Name this location. This is the year we closed down the event doing a Grease movie karaoke. So this is back in the day. It may have ended in a dance-off between my husband and another performer, which my husband won. If anybody knows my husband, he can break dance, and he totally wanted this. This is also a year that we ended our Chairman's Elite or Presence Club in a blizzard. So if you can name the location of this event, then I'll send you some swag. I feel like that's going to come in a second. Question number 2.
Love this.
Name the year, the event year. Oh, Stacy, you're not right? No, Alex says no. Stacy, not the year, name the location. I'm not sure that Stacy was part of Loan Depot or iMortgage at that time yet. So it may be before your year, but a Grease movie-themed karaoke night. Question number 2 is name the year of the event. This, Stacy, you were here for this one. This year we woke up and it was 100% fog. Like literally you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Saturday morning, I've got 65 golfers doing a shotgun start and I'm like, I literally can't see my hand in front of me. I'm like, what are we gonna do? And it was great. 65 people went golfing. I don't know how they did it. They might as well have had a blindfold on.
That was Newport.
Hey.
Wait, I can't play?
No!
Oh, sorry.
Name, okay. But name the year. You just said the location.
I won't say the year. I know the year, but I won't say it.
So the year. Lisa, you are right on the location and on the date. So Lisa wins that one. It was Sedona 2011.
Ooh.
So back to the fog year. You're right. It was Newport. It's also the year that Dan Hansen made an amazing speech, which if you know Dan, he can make a speech out of anything. But he turned that whole, like, sometimes you're blindfolded and you don't know what you're hitting into, but you just got to trust it. And I'm like, how does he do this? It's like he called for the fog. And we also debuted the first Loan Depot commercial to our Chairman's Elite people ahead of time at that event. So location. Lisa, you can't keep winning, so somebody else has to answer. Okay, you ready for number 3?
They're at 3. Let's go.
Okay. Number 3 is name the hotel. This was the first year we brought all the channels together. We had 650 people at this incentive, which is just amazing for Loan Depot because you see people's qualifying incentive trips. And I mean, we had 650 people there. So name the hotel. It's an iconic hotel. May have been the stomping grounds of Frank Sinatra all the way to Justin Bieber. And as a bonus question for that one, if you can name the headliner that was playing in the Live nightclub that night that called 3,000 people into the lobby during our event, then I'll give you an extra prize for that. Sound good? So there's tons of them coming in here. So I will go back through and I will message you if you get them right. Lisa, you got the first one, but I'll have to go through number 2 and number 3. So we're looking for the year of the Newport event, the year of the fog, and then the name of the hotel, the iconic hotel for our first combined event. So that's
this is awesome. I know the answers to all but 2.
Well, and you know what? If I can, as we close, the reason I picked these questions, I know there's fancy incentive trips all over. Everybody has an incentive trip. We go to Fiji, you go to Hawaii, you go here, you go there. But these are the memories that stick. Chris, you and Tracy could go to any one of these trips without me planning it. You could go do a week in Pelican Hill, if you wanted to. But the things that we create and the interactions, you can't buy that. You can't create these kind of circles of friends that you've made through the years or the connections with our leadership by booking those kind of trips. So they're special.
And I want to be clear on something. I checked the prices of Pelican Hill and we couldn't go to Pelican Hill. So if Tracy's watching this, she's not going to Pelican Hill.
You're right. My contract skills are on point. I will say I got a really good deal that year.
Yeah, because we wanted to stay long. I was like, are you kidding me? This place is expensive. It was one of the most beautiful hotels I'd ever been in.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It is. Wow. This has
Devin,
been fun.
This was really fun. I really appreciate you joining with me. And you don't know this, but or maybe you do, but this is my very first live event that I'm hosting. And you are my very first guest doing this. So thank you so much for joining me today.
You're the only person I would say yes to.
Boom.
Boom.
Chad, Alec, Brian, Sean, I hope you guys all heard that.
And I love that you guys are doing this. I know that you see me, I'm like trolling all of y'all because as we're sitting at home, this is how I connect with all of you. And I love it. I feel like I've hung out with Chad. He's not hanging out with me because it's one way there if I'm just watching him. But I feel more connected to you guys. And so I love it. It keeps me energized. It keeps me in the loop with the business. And I really enjoy it. It's been fun.
Well, this is awesome. And I will tell you that it's because of people like you in this company that keep our employees wanting to stay here. And you and your team just really show up every time. So thank you so much.
Awesome. I appreciate
Have a great day.
You
Thank you
too.
guys. Have
Bye,
a good one,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.